Hey, I'm traveling and I thought I wanted to do a little video on being vigilant. I'll say I'm not an expert at it. Um, yeah, but I think it's really important to talk about it. Being vigilant in the good sense of the word, with any kind of recovery, with any kind of 12 step, with any kind of addiction, if we see that the addiction is kind of an enemy that's trying to harm me, and it's not just physiological, it's not just mental patterns or brainwave patterns or um, environmental factors, but there's a spiritual force that's really sneaky that tries to trick me into relapsing and going to death rather than life. That's really a useful model rather than just seeing it as not that. That being said, being vigilant is really important to really know one's enemy, not by studying the enemy so much, but by studying what is true, what is good, what is holy. And over time, it appears that this just my experience is that it's more narrow and narrow and narrow as time goes by. What latitude? Like it's like God gave me more grace, not grace, but more latitude to just funnel me into something. Because the enemy is very, 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 very clever. I'm convinced of that. It is not harm to me at all to assume the worst about him in terms of coming up with schemes. Things that look good could turn out to be evil. Even helping people in 12 steps could look good, but might not be the best choice. That's why we must always be really guarded and prayerful about things rather than, oh, this is a good idea. Why don't we all go do this? It's like, well, how do we know that something bad isn't lurking around the corner? It's so easy for me to get going down the path of self-will. Maybe that's what I meant to say is that self-will and self-directed, self-powered, it seems like there's more room at the beginning. And then as God expects more of me over time, and that it changes over time, that we have to be much more vigilant, not paranoid, but close to that. It's kind of like paranoia is for me an unrealistic fear, something that's not that plausible, something where it's just terrorizing the person. um, but being vigilant, there's safety in that. It's like locking one's doors at night. It's like if one's on the internet, having safety protection software against the bad stuff, but also against viruses. Like, who would want to take a nice new computer or laptop and not have protection on it and just see how many viruses can come up? No, we want to be vigilant, not. And spam calls. That's a really good metaphor, is that they look innocent. They're just trying to help you with your IRS problem. But no, they're there to be actually part of the evil that they're doing. And so it seems like the safest method, a couple of things, is to pray all the time. Just pray, pray, and pray, and ask God about everything. Because if we ask Him about everything, He's not going to fail us. Do I pray about every single thing of the day? Hardly, but I should. And it takes practice and time. And I think the more we do that, and this would be step 10 and 11. Um, And I guess what I see is the people, the dear people that have actually get into some messes and things like that, and we all go back, well, all of us do. And then we go, well, it started off with self-will. It actually started with one small, tiny idea. It wasn't a big thing. It's not an obvious thing, just very sneaky. It comes in like this. And then, a mile later, it's resentment. A mile later, it's overeating or lusting or gambling or spending. There's a classic story of the alcoholic who has some good time in recovery, is sober, and says, I'm going to buy some flowers for my wife. How is that a bad thing? Well, the florist shop is right next door to the liquor store. That's how it's not a good thing. And it's not that one can't go near, a liquor store. It's just that when we're self-guided, we don't really have the power that's gifted to us from God because we've gone on Eric's power. It's what I call Ericzilla. If I'm going into my own world, kind of stomping through life, not realizing what I'm doing. Now I know more what I'm doing, and because I'm saying, oh my gosh, I'm being self-directed or self-willed or self-powered. I'm analyzing, I'm thinking, I'm seeing connections. I It looks like a good idea. Oh, look, I'll connect the dots to see that when I'm near here, I can slip and use. Or if I'm hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Okay, that's useful to a certain extent. But guess what? Someone can go eat to satisfy their hunger and still drink, or sleep and they still drink. So, where are we safest? Well, safest following steps that lead us to God to give us the power and the insight. Yes, it's good to take care of oneself with hungry, angry, lonely, tired. But if, and I don't think that was an original program slogan. I think it came in probably from a good hearted therapist or treatment center, but it's not sustainable. That what I like about connecting with God is it's sustainable. There's never a situation where God would fail me and not help me. So I like that as part of my tool. The other tool is guardedness or vigilance. There's not a downside to that. People would go, well, you're awfully paranoid. No, no one says that. But in my heart, there's a healthy suspicion. Once you have something really precious, you don't want to lose it. If, say, like well, I have some really precious things people have gifted me, and they're not material possessions, they're kind of like spiritual. But like I guard that with near my heart. I don't want to let it out of my sight. I want it to be, safe. And I wouldn't put it on luggage that I'm going to check in, even if it's wrapped in I want it near me. And I think that's what sobriety, a connection with God is about. I don't want to just throw it away because I think it's harder to get back if you lose it. I think people have suggested that. I've seen it over and over that the poor guy had sobriety from narcotics and heroin, and then somehow throws it away for something so minor, and then he is trying years to get it back. Years. It's just really awful, but I'm there to cheer him on. You can do this. God's good. He knows what he's doing. That's why if you have sobriety today, guard it with your heart. And how can I guard it? There's a wonderful verse in the Bible that talks about unless the Lord builds the house, we labor in vain. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman, I think, labors in vain. Or I should look it up. It's a really good verse, and I'll post it in the description. Because it's God who's going to keep us the safest. He's the one who knows everything. He's the one who knows our hearts. He knows if my heart is beginning to be deceitful and want to go down the wrong path. So if I say, God, please help me not go down the wrong path. If he knows the hearts of other people, so he knows who I should be near and who I should stay away from. He knows the future. See, this is the beauty of this kind of vigilance. It's not resting on me, it's resting on God. God is the one who's going to keep me safe. Um, it's a difference. It's a big difference from me really, 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 really trying to stay sober or to guard my heart and all that stuff versus I'm going to seek God with all my heart and really ask God to guard me. Then he gives his beloved sleep. Yeah, no, then he gives his beloved sleep. That's all in that passage there. Um, yeah, I'll post it there. You have a good sleep, a good night. I'm about ready to do that, and take care.